And then you also mentioned Sisu. This word, I think, means something like resilience or Finnish spirit or determination. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder if we've got an equivalent of that.
Well, we do. It's Smeddum.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is there in our thinking. I don't know how much it's there. You know, the thing is, it's been there in our history as well, but I don't know how much it's there in our governance. And the thing that's kind of quite different in all of this stuff is that things that totally make sense, you know, are sort of doable there. But that's because these guys have worked for such a long time to produce trust. And that takes a lot of patience, but it takes the courage to believe that if you give people power, a bit of room for manoeuvre, total control over their professional lives, in the case of schools, there's nobody sitting, there's no education authority sitting over the shoulders of the teachers that we spoke to. And that is one of the reasons that, well, it's chicken and egg, of course, because the teachers themselves decided that even primary school teachers would have to have master's degrees back in the 70s. And that was taking that upon themselves to get that level of professional credentials enabled the authorities to say, I think these guys can be trusted to run a school, so we'll just back right off. And that in turn meant that people thought, this is actually a pretty good job because we're not spending hours and hours doing paperwork for people who'll never even come into the school. And that actually also speaks to a thing that I seem to never end having to point out about Scotland, that we are still essentially feudal, which means that we have hierarchies, that we don't trust the people further down the food chain to just run their lives. So, you know, the way the Finns approach stuff, which is to say, well, you know, why don't you get on with what you're doing? And you strip out that whole layer of oversight. That is not something that actually any political party in Scotland is grappling.